the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.
G'day, viewers and listeners, and welcome to Nashville 2, where we tell your story. If you're in the Nashville Metro and you have a story to tell, maybe you're a business person, maybe you mentor or tutor kids after school, maybe you're a preacher and are launching a church, we want to tell the story of the little guys and gals that are doing business and helping their communities every single day in Nashville. Because Nashville, they're really good at promoting and marketing the sports stars and the music stars and the big places, but we never get to hear about average people that are working their lives hard trying to provide for other people. And so that's what Nashville 2 is about. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, reach out. You can find us on all the major podcasting platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google Podcasts, you name it, we're on there. And then also on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Those are my favorites. So, and we get to have wonderful guests. And today, Mark Casara. Mark and I met at a networking event. G'day, Mark. Thanks for being on the show.
Good day. How we doing?
Look at that. You said that like a true Aussie. I'm trying to learn. I'm from the South, right?
Yeah.
Australia's Southern Hemisphere. So I say g'day y'all when I want to confuse them.
There you go. Mix the two worlds. I love it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Mark, are you one of them unicorny things that Nashvillians like to call themselves?
I am not. I'm a transplant here. I'm a migrant. Originally come from Connecticut, up in New England area. My wife is from New York, right? So I have a little bit of Connecticut's kind of confusing, right? So you got a little bit of New York accent mixed in with a little bit of Boston, right? And so you're not sure where you come from when you hear somebody from Connecticut, but we're from the New England area, Connecticut mostly.
So how long have you been in the Nashville metro area?
Been in Nashville metro area about 5 years. We originally moved to Hendersonville, and then we moved to Murfreesboro, and I've worked the whole time pretty much in the Nashville area, and we fell in love with Tennessee. We had some family members here, so when we visited, we just loved the area, loved the music, loved the culture. I got 6 kids. We can talk about that maybe a little later, but I wanted to migrate from the north to come more south to slow down, be a little more family centric.
Right. And that's what I love about Nashville too. I'm a transplant here. When the opportunity came up to buy the business in Nashville, Trade Bank of Nashville, I told my wife, we've been in Kansas for 30 years. She's a Kansas girl. And I said, what do you think about moving to Nashville? We always love going there on vacation. She goes, yeah, let's do it. Wherever I said on the last show, I am married to the most wonderful wife in the world. That's trademark. So
right on.
People on this show are going to get sick of hearing that, but we got 32 years in, 3 grown kids, like 29, 26, and 24. When I'm recording this podcast, who knows if you watch it 10 years later, just add 10 years.
Yeah.
So okay. Lost my train of thought, but you moved here. Oh, Hendersonville. I got to stay there when I first moved here and got to drive around the lake. And there's like a hidden park back there that's like huge, like down a street. I didn't even know it was there. I just, let's drive around here. And like, there's this huge park. I can't even remember what it's called.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called either, but there's actually a park and there's some trails in back of like a community. And so you literally just like stumble upon it. There's even like a little, like a swimming hole and a river. It's actually a very, very beautiful area. We moved up there originally for the lakes and be by the waterfront. Some really cool little hole in the wall places to eat. Oh, it's just amazing up there. But I wanted to. We have some family in Spring Hill, and so we wanted to kind of come a little closer to be with family. So that's why we ended up in Murfreesboro.
Right, and I love Murfreesboro. I've been going over there for networking events, and like I'm kind of addicted to Dave's place for his the steak and shake that
Steak and shake, yeah.
It's like. Yeah. So I just had him on this morning, so I don't know when that one will show up. But so Mark, tell us a little bit about what do you guys do? You said you're married, you got 6 kids. Yeah, that's a whole different podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think were you and I speaking yesterday about these kids were twins and then triplets, right?
Yes, correct.
So tell us a little bit. Tell us just a minute or two. Give us the bio on that.
Yeah, so I have 6 kids. Our oldest is 25. She's my stepdaughter. I raised her since she was about 5 years old. And so, she's been with me. She calls me dad. And so, we have Alexa, and then we have our twin boys are 10 years old. And then we have another set of multiples, which is triplets. Those are our 3 girls, triplets. They're 6 years old. And so, I was telling Ed earlier, everybody's question when I tell them I have a set of twins, set of triplets, their first question is, well, how'd that happen? Does it run in the family, and was it natural? And so, we actually tried to have kids immediately when we first got married. And it took about 7 years to realize it ain't happening. Right. And so, but my wife had already had a kid, right? So it was something called secondary infertility, and it was because of some scar tissue or whatever, what have you. And so we ended up going the doctor's route. We did some fertility treatment, and we had our 2 boys. Well, when our boys turned 4, we wanted to have one more kid before my wife turned 40. And so we went the same route. And this is what the doctor said. You had twins. The chances of you having another set of multiples is almost slim to none. You guys are going to be fine. Well, lo and behold, 6 weeks later, we went for our ultrasound and we saw 3 little dots on the screen. And I looked around and I said, hon, I am being punked. I'm on a reality show right now. Where's the cameras, And so, here we are. They're beautiful kids, no complications. And, it's a beautiful family I have.
Yeah. That's an awesome story. And of course, I was telling you about my friends in Kansas that
yes,
the Hedrick sextuplets about 17, 18 years ago now.
Can't imagine.
And, all of them are, as healthy as you can be. I mean, you're crammed in there with 5 other people. It's like,
wow. Can't imagine. So my wife was hospital bedridden for the last 3 months of pregnancy. Wow. She couldn't move from the hospital bed for 3, because she's a little short, she's 5'1", and she had triplets. Oh man, it was rough. Luckily no major complications. She just had to sit still for a little while, let them incubate in there, and then they came out. Only 2 weeks in the NICU, which for triplets, they were born at like around 3 pounds. They were very, very tiny. Usually they stay in a lot longer, but my girls they're warriors, and they made it through real fast.
Okay. So, I'm a bit of a dad jokester, right? I
Sure.
like the dad jokes. So you've got a daughter that's 25 named Alexa. Does that become a problem? Because
yes.
Alexa, what time is it? Alexa, like you need to make her your personal assistant. Alexa, can you put on my calendar? Oh, hang on, my Alexa's going to start going off in the other room now.
Yeah. So we were forbade to get an Alexa because of Alexa. She made us promise we would never get that device in our home. So we have Google. We have a little Google Home, right. So we can say, "Hey Google." But the funny thing is, the ironic thing is, Alexa, she lives on her own in her own apartment. She has a child of her own. She ended up getting an Alexa. So she ends up calling herself regularly. Hey, Alexa, turn on. So she comes back to us and she says, all these years I've fought not to have one in the home, and I end up getting one in my own home. It's just, can't lose, can't win here. So
she's got to write a book. It would be hilarious. She'd probably get sued by Amazon, but hang on a second. My name's Alexa. I'm allowed to use my name.
Exactly.
I'm not a lawyer, and I didn't play one on TV. But I think she could start a TikTok channel or something. Maybe she could work with Amazon.
Hey, maybe.
There you go. Like she makes a lot of money, just send me a commission check. I don't mind.
Absolutely. 10%. You got it.
Yeah. So Mark, okay, so we've done some fun stuff, and maybe we just need to turn this into something else. But I want to talk about one of the challenges I have found. I'm 54 years old. My wife and I have always found it important to be fiscally and financially aware. Now, notice I didn't say perfect at our finances. Like, sure. I got into some credit card debt back in the day. As entrepreneurs, I want to do, bought boatloads full of stuff, not boatloads, but bought trucks full of stuff and didn't sell them like I thought I would, and still had to pay off the credit card debt. So I'm not saying that we're perfect financially, but my folks were really good at talking about finances, and we were really good at talking about finances with our kids. And you're in the financial industries, right? You have a independent agency.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So my wife and I started a life insurance and annuity agency about 2 years ago. Funny part is we were a client of our broker who is our, one of our managing partners, my coach and mentor right now. He's out in Dallas, Texas. But we were just clients of his for 2 years. I saw the value in life insurance, wanted to get my kids covered, wanted to get my wife covered. And lo and behold, by just connecting with him and seeing how many families he was helping and seeing the testimonies of all the people, saving their marriage because life insurance, they weren't torn apart because of financial difficulties, in other words. And so my wife and I kind of, felt this calling or this urge to look into the business side of that. And so we sat with them, we spoke with them. We ended up getting licensed in the state of Tennessee. I'm now licensed in about 30 states as an independent life insurance agent and broker. We work with 30 of the top carriers in the world. And so our goal is to just educate middle-class America, educate those who maybe don't know what's out there for them, don't know what's possible, and don't know the value of life insurance. When you think about life insurance, most people think of what? What's the first word that comes to mind? Death, of course. Well, did you know that you can use life insurance while you're living? There's something called living benefits. If you get critical, chronic, or terminal illness while you're alive, you can pull all of your death benefits, pay off your medical bill, pay your mortgage, pay your kids' college, and still live the best life for the rest of your life. And so that's kind of our whole deal. Is we love educating. We come from a ministry background, and we were youth and young adult pastors for 15 years. And we love helping people and just empowering people. And so when we got connected in this industry, it was like a win-win. We make good money, but we're also helping people at the same time. And so, you can't beat it,
Yeah. And so I think I challenge people all the time to at least talk to somebody. That peace of mind for pennies on the dollar, right? That peace of mind that you can get in life insurance. I think people, number one, we don't want to think about it. So we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to think about it. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want anybody else to talk about it.
Yes.
And then every time we turn around, there's 400 million insurance agents trying to flog something.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, people don't want to talk about death. Death is taboo. Death hurts. It's painful. It's emotional. But, when we bring in the living aspect of it and, we say, hey, this is for while you're alive. You can leverage certain types of life insurance to store cash and keep it growing tax-free. It's a cash value life insurance policy. Now, most people are thinking Dave Ramsey in the back of their head, buy term and invest the difference. Well, while there is a place for that, there's also a place for people that don't have the financial discipline to invest the difference. They can stick it in a cash value policy, almost like a forced savings plan. It'll grow with compound interest and it'll keep your money tax-free growing for the rest of your life. And then we get into annuities, which could be a whole different conversation. You can take your qualified plan from a 401k, roll it over tax-free, penalty-free into an annuity. That's guaranteed income for the rest of your life. It's not considered an investment, so we don't offer it or broadcast it or market it as an investment. What we do is we offer it as a hedge against market volatility, a hedge against inflation, and principal protection, and it's lack of knowledge. Bible says lack of knowledge, my people perish. And so people just don't know what they don't know because their parents have never taught them. Well, hello, we're here to teach the younger generations what their parents unfortunately didn't teach them. And so that's why I do what I do every day.
And what I love is, as a 54-year-old and having gone through some health issues, the best advice I can give anybody, and I'm not in that industry, but the best advice I can give you is do it now while you're young and you have no issues. I've had a diabetic, and I had an aortic aneurysm which stretched the heart valve, so they had to replace the heart valve. And so, I can get insurance. Sure. But it ain't the same insurance that my 30-year-old son can get or my 24-year-old daughter. So guys, look at it now. Get with somebody like Mark. Get with somebody you like, know, and trust. If you don't have anybody you like, know, and trust, and I know people say it's no like and trust, but if I don't have a little bit of like,
of course,
I'm not going to get to the trouble of knowing them and trusting them. But definitely in this day and age, it makes good financial sense. I used to say it makes sense. Not only does it make sense, it turns them into dollars.
There you go. Cents into dollars.
That's right. But get with somebody like Mark, somebody that you know and trust. And if you don't know anybody, then I can recommend Mark. We've had several conversations, and quality individual. So Mark, what else should people know? Maybe what's something that they don't know about your field?
Well, there's something called opportunity cost, right? And so, like you were saying, it's better to start earlier than to start later. There was a study once done on, cash value accounts, compound interest accounts. If a 20-year-old started saving $200 a month away, by the time they're, age 65, they would have a certain amount of money, close to $1 million maybe. But if you start at just 10 years later, 30, it would be drastically cut down by 50% because of the opportunity cost that's in there. Just simply by waiting a few years is going to steal from your future. And so that's what a lot of people don't realize. You can even get these types of policies for children at age 14 days old. You can get a policy on them. Why would get a policy on a child? Well, it's not for the death benefits. It's for the retirement side of things. It's for maybe use it as a college tuition savings plan. I have 6 kids. I have a policy on each one of my kids, not for the necessary death benefits, but for saving for that day when they're 18, they want to go buy a car, go start a business, go into college. So, I'd say, like you said, start early, at least educate yourself early. Speak to an individual that you can trust, that you like, that you can feel comfortable with, and just get educated at the very minimum. Get educated sooner than later. And like you said, if you don't have anybody, feel free to reach out to me. I have 500,000 people on TikTok that we've been building over the course of a year to a year and a half. And we just give financial tidbits and knowledge and tips and tricks. I give 90% of my information I give away for free. There's no course to buy. There's nothing like that. And when we sit down with you, we don't charge you either. We're not like a financial advisor where we would charge you in assets under management. We get paid from the carrier. We don't take any money from our clients. So
that's cool.
My little tidbit. Yeah.
So you're making me feel pretty. I started a TikTok channel just for dad jokes, right? So it's not useful advice like yours. It's dumb advice how to combat your Uncle Bob at the next Thanksgiving with dad jokes. So I think I have 4 followers on TikTok.
Hey, I'll follow you. You'll have 5.
Okay, we need to talk. You need to help me. So I've got special Ed Fox dad jokes. Speaking of which, my son got me a belt made of watches for Christmas. I told him that's a waste of time.
Hey, I love dad jokes. I'll definitely subscribe to your TikTok.
Well, cool. So when you said get educated,
there you go.
Educated. So that's our goal with Nashville too, is to educate as well.
You're pretty punny.
I am. I'm a punny guy. They call me Special Ed.
I love it. I used to work with a guy that every conversation you would have, he'd throw out some type of pun or dad joke. But the funny part was he's only like 20 years old, so he's not even a dad yet. But he's just got that knack.
I did that. I love dad jokes. They weren't called dad jokes back in the day.
Of course, yeah.
Dad, I'm hungry. Hi, hungry. I'm Dad.
Yeah.
Goes to us all the time. Yeah. So I fell in love with that. The puns that would come through. Grew up watching Benny Hill. Now Benny Hill's not politically correct today.
My grandfather was I grew up on the same thing.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So now I do things like this. I have my koalas because I'm koalified. So
there you go.
Listening, you don't know it, but I'm holding up a koala. I have all the koalifications, right?
I love it.
So that's stuff. Okay, so when you're not working, and that's some great advice, by the way, when you're not working, Mark, what's some of the hidden gems you found in the 5 years you've been in the Nashville Metro and now down in Murfreesboro? Do people in Murfreesboro, they probably don't like being included in the Nashville Metro because Murfreesboro, but it is, okay, guys, I understand it. You've got a great community. You don't want to be associated necessarily with Nashville, but we want to tell your story. I can't have Nashville 2 and Murfreesboro 2. And
Exactly.
I got to do, so I love Murfreesboro. I love going down there, but with your time around the Nashville Metro, what's something that you and your family do when you're not working?
So I try to spend as much time with my family as possible. I'm very, I love my kids to death. We try to do as much as possible. When I was working full time, 60, 70 hours a week, I only saw them at night when it was bedtime and then maybe on the weekend here and there. So that was one of the reasons why I took the plunge and decided to be an entrepreneur full time and just start my own business and educate people. And so now it's funny, we are home. I work from home out of a home office. We're currently looking for some office space. But the weekends and the weekdays blur to me. They don't make a difference, right? We don't look forward to the weekends anymore because every day is a weekend to us, right? I can wake up when I want. And so my kids are like, well, today, Dad, can we go on an adventure? Sure, why not? Let's cut half a day and go on an adventure. So one of the things we love about the Nashville area is the Parthenon. Love the Parthenon, love learning about history, love that is it a 1-for-1 scale, right? It's like,
yes.
Like legit the correct size.
I keep going when it's closed.
Right, I know. That's the problem. It's closed a lot. But we love just visiting, the Parthenon and just all the little cool little shops and stuff. I know people hate going to Broadway, but believe it or not, every once in a while I love taking a stroll down Broadway, especially when it's busy at night or when the Predators are in town. One of the other places I love, it's not directly in Nashville, but it's the, what is it? It's the Cumberland Caverns. Have you ever heard of Cumberland Caverns?
Tell me.
It's in Cumberland, Tennessee, and it's about an hour's drive. I think it's north, and it's caverns that are 100, 200 feet underneath the ground, and they take you on a guided tour, and you can see stalactites and all those things. There's water flowing through underground. It's amazing.
Okay, stalactites, and what's the other one?
I don't know. Stalagmites?
Stalagmites, I think. I'm the same as you. I can remember one, but I can never remember the other. Okay,
exactly.
So Cumberland Caverns. When we do the show notes, folks, Mark's going to let us know the website and a little blurb about it. So you'll be able to find them on all the podcast platforms and then on YouTube.
Yeah.
See the show notes. Okay.
Yeah, I took my 2 boys because the girls would be a little too nervous in a place like that. But I took the 2 boys, and there's a part about a half an hour walk inside. You're with a guided tour. They say sit here on a little bench. They say we're going to shut off the lights. You're going to see what dark really is.
Wow.
And so they shut off all the lights in the cavern, and you can keep your eyes wide open and you can't see your hand in front of your face. It is the darkest dark that you could ever imagine. And the silence, you can literally hear the silence. It's so quiet that you can hear your heartbeat. You know how you can hear your heart pulse in your arteries. It was so mesmerizing, and they only do it for about 10 minutes and they flick the lights on, but super cool experience. I highly encourage anybody 10 years old and up to go check it out. And then go ahead.
Folks, if some of you are panicking and you don't like the dark, you don't have to go, right? You don't have to go. So I can already see one of my sisters would be freaking out just thought of the dark. And, and then of course I would add something stupid like, oh yeah, and Pennywise is going to jump out at you. And totally just do her in. So
clowns, dark, they don't mix. We
won't do that. Yeah, you bet. Sorry, I stopped you.
It's a cool place to go. And then the third place my kids love to go to is the Adventure Science Center right in Nashville. Okay. Have you ever driven on the highway and you see that little dome? It's like a triangle dome. It's the Discovery Center out there. It's pretty cool. And so they have family events and stuff like that. But my kids will spend 2-3 hours just walking through and playing with all the gadgets. So it's a really great place to bring your family. You can get like a yearly membership or whatever, and it brings down the price dramatically. But yeah, that's a really cool one.
Is that a government facility or privately owned? Do you know?
I think it's privately owned. I think it's privately owned. There's the Adventure Science Center, which I think is the same as the Discovery Center. Yeah, I think I don't know. There might be 2, but the one that I'm referring to is the Adventure Science Center, which I'll leave a link to so you guys can check out the website and stuff like that. But I do everything with my family as much as possible. When I'm not with my family, I'm either in the gym or at a tattoo parlor getting tattooed.
You got any new ones lately that you can show?
No, I got a sleeve going that I've had for several years, but I'm thinking of maybe doing the other arm. My wife just said to me, she's a super conservative woman, doesn't really take too many adventures. She said, "Hon, I think I want to get a sleeve like you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, let's go check it out. So we're going to go check it out, see what happens.
Okay. So what age are your kids allowed to get tattoos?
Probably 18. I'll probably hold it off until they're 18, because then at least 18 they'll have somewhat of some type of common sense flowing through their brain. I think anything before that, they're still filled with emotion, and maybe it won't make the right decision.
End up getting a little Pikachu, and they're never into Pokemon again.
Exactly.
I told my kids the same time. I said, there's very few things that I can think I would want to tattoo on my body. But if you want to tattoo your body, that's fine. But you're going to wait till 18. And I got so much pushback from the 16 to the 18.
Oh yeah. Because they think they're adults at that point. Yeah.
But then after they turned 18, actually after they turned 21, my oldest came to me and said, yeah, you were right. I like what I got, but what I wanted to get at 16, I wouldn't want on me now. I said, well, luckily, they can fix a lot of that stuff. We see that all the time. But I think
I didn't actually get my first tattoo till I was about 24. And it was because I had conversations with my dad, and he was a pastor, a super conservative guy, as far as religion, and real strict household at that point when I was growing up. And so I kind of respected his wishes. I never went and did it. And then finally I was married, and I was like, hey, Dad, I think I'm about to go get a tattoo. He was like, well, you're a grown man now. You're married. You can do what you want. And at that point, he was a little more loose and a little loosened up. And so he, at one point, we ended up getting a tattoo together, which was a cool experience. We got a little Christian fish on our foot, on the palm of our, not the palm, but the top of our foot.
Okay.
So, but
Yeah, exactly.
It's a forever thing. So you got to make sure whatever you do, you think about it clearly beforehand.
Right. And think about 10 years from now when it's like maybe sagging or
Exactly.
I'm just saying there's some things you wouldn't want to. I often wonder, all the Navy guys that you used to see, the Hawaiian girl that they could make dance or whatever.
Yeah.
What she looked like in 30 years when you're so wrinkly. These are just the things that go through my head. I can't help it. It's just
I know
that just flow through. Hey, Mark, it's been great having you on the show. We'll have all that stuff in the show notes. I'd love to have you promote your TikTok channel in the show notes as well. Thanks for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Ed. It was a pleasure meeting you on Facebook and then meeting you in person at our networking event. I look forward to connecting with you and the community again regularly.
Yeah, that'd be great. And maybe we can grab a burger or something.
At Steak and Shake.
At Steak and Shake. That's right. Plenty of free advertising for Dave. He's an awesome guy. This is a guy, I don't know if you know or not, but he deployed to Desert Storm with his mom. His mom and him were both deployed. She was a nurse. He was a cook, and they were in a MASH unit.
Wow. That's amazing.
Where those potatoes come from. No.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, have a great day.
Hey, man. Thanks, Ed. We'll talk soon.
This is the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.